Thank you so much for joining us on The Insight tonight. My name is Eugene Kwach. Of course, this is GBS TV Africa. And of course, it's yet another time that you're joining us for this conversation. Thank you so much. Of course, today I've been another regalia, quite of course, because there is a great occasion that has actually just happened, my graduation. But of course, that apart, we today will be delving into a great discourse actually that is affecting the country at large. And that is the discourse on governance and of course also on mental health. And of course, we do not do this alone. We have Helen Nchibere, who is a governance and mental health expert, also joining us here for this conversation. And the topic of the conversation is healing the nation, governance and mental health. We will navigate the complexities of the mental health, of course, in our society. And of course, it's clear that governance plays a pivotal role from policy implementation to resource allocation. The decision made at the leadership level directly impact the mental well-being of the people. And of course, leadership in general. So this is part of the conversation that actually we are going to have here because we understand that it affects. There's been critical issues of mental health. And thank you so much for joining us, Helen, for this conversation. Good to see you. Looking good.
Okay, thank you too. Looking good too in the graduation gown.
Yes.
And much congratulations.
Yes.
The sky is not the limit. Aim higher.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helen. Well, let us just kickstart this conversation. From where you sit, there have been quite a number of issues on mental health affecting the country. From where you sit, where do you think the government has gone, maybe trying to stabilize maybe the issue on mental health, maybe trying to promote or maybe campaign against just mental health awareness and generally what the government has been doing so far and what you, also being a mental health expert, have contributed maybe your journey with mental health and of course governance. We're going to delve deeply into that.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. And I'd want to say that governance plays a big role in the mental health of its citizens.
Yes.
And if there's poor governance, then there's mental fallout on people. And this one will affect right from the bottom to the top. So the government and the counties also, because the government extends from the national to the county level, they may have tried to support their citizens in as holding good mental health, but we can't say it is enough. There's still much that needs to be done, and much not mostly on the physical facilities, like hospitals to treat. It should begin from the basic of it, the causative agent of mental illnesses. There's much that needs to be done for us at least to say we are somewhere in terms of curbing mental sicknesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, quite interesting. But of course, you've mentioned quite a lot, but let me just ask you from where you sit, because governance, we understand, is one of the issues actually that has affected a lot in people having even mental health issues. And this is, for example, when they have unemployment, some people have got other health issues and maybe they can't afford the basic necessities, actually, the necessities of living. So when they can't afford this, then some of them have fallen into depression and of course other mental health issues. From where you sit, what is the implication generally for poor governance, maybe on individual and even on community pertaining on mental health? And even going forward, how can it, or rather what steps have been made to resolve some of these issues? Or do you think mental health issues independent of governance? Are they intertwined? Are they in any way linked? And if so, to what extent?
Okay, very well, Kwacha. And may I say that Good governance will lead to very healthy, mental healthy people. Good governance will see activities both economically and politically come out well and succeed in the country. But poor governance then will be the opposite. One, if there is insecurity, and governance entails accountability, governance entails integrity, and those are the requirements that will make a nation see that they have moved from one level to another, and to an extent that every person, every citizen enjoys the fruits of a stable government. So if there is poor governance, there is insecurity. You'll see that there are people warring everywhere, the wars and the fights. There are accidents all over. There are, insecurity. I mean, in insecurity now, you'll find there are wars, there are accidents, and then also disagreements and many conflicts, just resulting from poor governance, lack of accountability. And then with the poor governance, there is also lack of resources in the country. The people from the villages to the bigger part of the nation, they suffer a lack of resources. For example, roads, after rains, you find they are all damaged. They can't be repaired. People and their vehicles, and even as they walk to work, even as they struggle to achieve their daily bread, they have nowhere to pass through. So this one makes people suffer, serious suffering in their minds. And this is what will now cause it's from one level to another. If people are not at peace, if people cannot move along well with as they look for ways to earn their bread, because their minds are unstable, they are disturbed, they are not at rest, what will happen? It is either this person looks at the neighbors, what the neighbor has, maybe acquired in a different way, and that is where theft comes in, that is where robbery comes in, and that is where many conflicts will come in, because I'll not allow my children to sleep in hunger while I know a neighbor has chicken. I'll jump over the fence, get the chicken, and have it for my children's supper. I'll do it.
Which in turn continues to create more other conflicts, because when you get to go to the neighbor, and then the neighbor will also maybe retaliate in one way or the other.
That is the circle now. It brings that circle.
Interesting.
You see, I am disturbed as a parent, and then I'll extend. This one will even start now. Me as a parent, my children are here. They have no basic needs. And then for the children again, you'll see the mother is suffering. You see how mental health goes and it rotates around and about on everyone. They'll see the mother is suffering. Possibly if the conflict again just inside the home, the father is there, feels that maybe this woman is maybe lazy, or this woman has brought issues that I cannot handle or tackle in this home, the needs in the family. So things like divorce will come out from there. Things like dysfunctional families will come out from there. The children, what will happen to the children? They will not be nourished properly. So this will extend and move from the home to the neighborhood, and from the neighborhood to the bigger society. So you see, it is like if the smallest bit of a citizen is not taken care of, it will get to the level of instability in everybody in the country. So it has to begin from the grassroots. Taking care of mental health of people should begin from the grassroots.
Okay.
And that is by everybody having a basic need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite interesting that you're talking about from grassroots up, bottom up.
Yeah.
And of course, it's quite important that we understand that we have a system of governance where we also have the county government
Yeah.
and of course the national government.
Yes.
And we also get to understand that both the national government and the county government have a great responsibility to impact on their citizens as far as maybe mental health or any other initiatives is concerned.
Yes.
How do we even, or maybe from where you sit, have we ever seen some collaborations between the county government and the national government towards curbing mental health? And while they do those initiatives, because according to you, the main issue actually could actually be on issues that deal with governance. Those are the major things that actually are causing harm to the mental capacity of a common Kenyan. Are they really, are the initiatives that they have, the county and the national government, are these initiatives really addressing the real issues on the ground? Or are they just doing the campaigns independently, not understanding that the real issue is with them on governance?
Okay, quite the biggest problem here now is that mental illness is not something tangible.
Yes.
It is not something that can be seen.
Yes.
As I sit,
Yes.
I may be suffering
Yes.
depression,
Yes.
and you don't know.
Sure.
I may be suffering some anxiety,
Yes.
because all these are problems, mental health problems,
Yes.
emanating from poor governance.
Yes. Yes.
And you won't know.
Yes.
So that mental illness or mental issues are not tangible things, or physical things can be seen.
Yes.
The leadership or the leaders in the country have not taken it seriously.
Yes.
Like it is an issue to be addressed. The way we address the issue of food, the issue of material things, the issue of transport and other things. But this one now, it is just a silent thing, and it is called a silent killer, because people suffer with it. And again, it's something that is stigmatized so much.
Yes.
If I say, or if I think of doing something,
Yes.
and people see I am depressed, you see it will be the talk of the day.
Yes.
So I tend to hide it.
Yes.
I hide it because I don't want people to know the sufferings I'm going through. But if the government just took an initiative from the counties and extend to the bigger level, where people are taken care of through maybe counseling is the most effective way to deal with mental illnesses.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because if there is counseling, people are taken through the process of curbing these mental problems through counseling, we will not go to the psychiatrists. You know, psychiatrists, that's now a medical case.
Yes.
It's a medical issue,
Okay.
which will require medicine, it will require doctors, it will require a hospital.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying it's something that should be controlled from the grassroots.
Okay.
So let people know that counseling works to help people deal with their mental problems.
Okay.
And once it is tackled from the grassroots there, through counseling, it will not, the government will not incur expenses.
Yes.
To get to hospitals like Madare Hospital, like those other private hospitals,
Yes.
Which one is this one? Chiromo, and many others, trying to get medications and the doctors and the facilities, hospitals to cure problems that would have been prevented earlier.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, as we speak on the collaboration between collaborative efforts, now that is between the county government and of course the national government
Yes.
in Kenya, particularly in the context of mental health and governance.
Yes.
We understand there is, number one, joint policy formulation, where the Kenya Mental Health Action Plan of 2021-2025 emphasizes the need for collaboration between now the national and county government to develop comprehensive mental health policies. So we also have that joint policy formulation. Another thing also, we also have the mental health task force, that has been established by the national government. And of course, we also have intergovernmental forums where that is actually chaired by county governance that facilitates collaboration between now the national and county government departments, because we also have different departments in the county government and of course national government that are actually looking at these things. And perhaps I'll just maybe ask you after this whether these things have quite been effective, because even in as much as it has to start from the ground, yes, by people, how is the government, what is now the government doing on their side? And what they have done so far, is it even enough? Of course, the fourth one is capacity building initiatives, where we've had programs aimed at empowering county public service through capacity building, of course, which are quite effective for governance. And we of course also have community-based approaches, just like what you have actually said, and you put it right. We have the legislative engagement, where the Council of Governance actively engages with the national government to ensure that the new policies and legislation consider the needs of the counties. We have public participation, we have joint committee and authorities, amongst others. But let me just ask you before we move to the next question, whether these collaborative efforts between the national government and the county government have borne fruit. Yes, there is need, as you've rightly put it, to start from self. But those that have actually been put by the government, the county government and the national government, their collaborative efforts, have they actually borne fruit? Maybe in simple words. Okay.
Yes, I would say there is some kind of light from that, because recently there was a mental health day, and many people participated. And on a day like that, that's where many people come out to create awareness to people. Yes. So everybody is made aware that there is this kind of a problem, and this is how it needs to be deviated so that it does not escalate. Yes. Then, okay, in some of the facilities I know, like from the counties, yes, they feel that but they have not been taken with the seriousness that it deserves. Yes. Because again, these mental problems are growing day by day. Yes. You've seen the young people just getting on the streets. Sometimes we may not understand them. Sometimes we would say that maybe it is bad character. We would say that their upbringing is bad, but that's not the case. These people are suffering mental problems. Look at a youth or a young person who has just graduated from the university. You have graduated, congratulations. You are just a mirror of those others behind. They are coming. Yes, yes. Somebody has graduated and has stayed home. I know of people who have stayed, like those who have teachers who have done education. They graduated in 2010. They have very good certificates. They have continued to empower themselves through professionalism, through many other courses, but these people have not got a job. What do you think that a person like that will do? These people, they feel demoralized, they feel left out, they feel no one cares about them, and they start wondering, now, what was this education all about? They compare themselves with those who maybe got into businesses and into small other things. No, because if you get to yourself, you are focused when you do something. Yes. When you go for a degree, you are focused. Yes. You know where you want to get to. And this other person who just feels, I want to do a small business, yes, that person is satisfied because it's your choice. Okay. When you go for a degree and another one, you are focused and you are focused on something. You want something big. Yes. But then you see, 10 years down the line or more, you have not got a job. Yes. When you get the vibaruas, very small things that cannot sustain you, you have siblings whose money you took, they will say that in quotes, you took our money, you went to school, you spent all our parents' money, And here you are still with us. What do you think will happen to such a home? Those siblings will start fighting. This person who carried all the money, cows were sold, maybe a plot, a la shamba was sold for you to go to school. And then here you are still trying to struggle for the little that was left after you've carried everything in your education. What will happen to that parent who did that, who sold the cows and everything that was in that home for the child to go to school, yet he is here, he has not got a job? What will happen? Those people in that home will uniformly be suffering mental problems. And they look at this person who went to school as the person, the problem causer in the family. This father or mother will be seeing this son like he is not creative enough to get, to move himself to get a job. The siblings here will now see, Mom, you cannot get a job for our brother. Who is so highly educated. You cannot, the son, you cannot look for a job. So you see, those people are sick and they need help. And the help should come from the level of the county there, or the immediate governance or leadership that is around there. And that would be by providing, providing jobs for people, providing basic needs for people, providing, curbing unemployment, curbing corruption, because again, corruption, you know, somebody like that compares. Let me share with you this, because I've shared with many in my counseling firm. I am a founder of a counseling firm, and I come across these very many cases. Take for example now an example I've given you of a person who graduated in 2010, has not got a single job, not even a kibaru, I'm telling you. And then there is another one who graduated last year. And that other person, the one who graduated last year, has a job. What do you think this other person will think? One, self-esteem will not be there. Another thing, he will just disvalue himself. And then what will happen? He'll go to drugs to just try to protect himself. Another mental problem, alcoholism and drug use. Why? Because the mind is troubled. Why would somebody who graduated last year get a job, and of course a good job in the government? I graduated 10 years ago. I even have good credentials than this person. And yet, I met a job, and I am still struggling. So it makes the person feel that I am nothing. And the only help I can get is to prevent the imaginations and the thoughts in me by getting into drugs.
Thank you. We are, of course, we'll be delving deeper into that, of course, but we're taking a quick short break, and of course, we are here conversing on healing the nation, majorly on issues of mental health, and of course, governance a bit. We have here Ellen Nchebere with us, who is, of course, is a guest analyst, joining us for this broad conversation. And as you always know, that the insight is where we get into critical discourses that affect you. Well, tonight is one of such days. 2144 is our SMS line at GBS TV Africa at Eugene Ochieng Kwach. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the 254 Trivia Game Show, where every second counts and the stakes are sky high.
Get ready for jaw-dropping challenges, mind-bending questions, and unbeatable fun.
Who will rise to the top and claim the ultimate prize?
Tune into GBS TV and let the games begin.
Don't miss out. This is the 254 Trivia Game Show. Good luck.
Today we are going to have the Scouts Corner.
Drop. It is. Let cheese. Let
And I'm joined with two wonderful schools. Firstly, we have the Kings and Queens Academy. And we have the SEK St. Elizabeth Academy. We'll be having different segments. And the first segment, we'll have the Bible knowledge.
Now, Maureen's father works in a place where believers were first called Christians. The place is called?
The third segment, we'll have the spelling bee.
We have 30 seconds to give your answer. Are you ready? Yes. Amazing.
NINTY 90. CHOCOLATE chocolate.
Meet us every day on Saturday, same place, same time.
This is the Coding Zone segment. My name is Andrew, and in this segment, I will be teaching you how to code. What comes into your mind when you hear the word coding? Coding is giving simple steps to a device so that it can follow these steps and give you an output. Coding is used to make apps, websites, animations, and even the games that you play on your phone or tablet.
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀 죽어 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins,
무덤에 들어가셨다가
and he was put into the tomb
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being
우리
crucified.
죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Everywhere, GBS.
Thank you so much and welcome back to The Insight. We have this conversation still, the healing the nation, governance, and of course mental health. We still have here Helen Nchebere with us as we continue the conversation. Nchebere, we were somewhere still continuing with this conversation. And now that we've talked unequivocally about this particular subject, mental health, we've looked at it in different perspectives. But me thinking, or just me asking, how is the other countries, like maybe other countries apart from Kenya, how do they handle people who are actually suffering from mental sickness? And what can we learn, maybe one or two from those other countries? And what do we need? Are we where we ought to be, maybe as a people, from where you sit?
Okay. I may not know much about other countries, how they handle it.
Yes.
But an example of a country like Rwanda, because I visited there, I have visited Rwanda as a psychologist, and I saw how, I had maybe a short time of a 1 week's visit on how people do their things, like working together.
Yes.
In Rwanda, you find you find, or you see, they set a day when they do some common work, and in that common work they do, there's that interaction. You know, when you interact with one another, you are able to understand the other person.
Yes.
When you work together with in a group, you're able to understand how the other person solves the problems that come their way. And also you are able to learn how to maybe manage the problems that come your way.
Yes.
So it is also important, you know, like problems, like in our country now, it is you with your problems, the other person with your problems.
Yes.
You may not know what the other person is suffering from,
Yes.
but the person you are with is suffering.
Yes.
And there is no time, you know, with the ups and the downs of life here and the struggles, you may not even have time to, or even want to disclose what you are going through.
Yes.
And even that forum for disclosure is not there.
Okay.
It is not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I want us to also delve into another issue. We'll still continue with the conversation on mental health and governance, but not far from it, there is the issue of femicide, actually, which has actually affected, and it's a broad conversation that people are having, because women are being killed left, right, and center. Actually, according to statistics, one lady is being killed every day because of maybe disagreements. So we have the GBV, the gender-based violence. This is something that has been experienced. It's not something happening today, but in the recent times it has happened a lot. So let me just get to hear before we get to the intricate part of it, what do you think about it at that?
Okay, sure, it has really escalated, and looking at the way things are going on, it's like it's not being managed. It is instead growing. The way it started small. But as days move by, as years move by, as even we are getting to modern and technology, it is like now femicide is becoming part of the society. It's not easy and to have a family member just getting into an incident like that one, and people move normally. There are people who don't sleep. For example, abductions, and this person you are expecting to be in your house by the time that the person is supposed to be there is not there. You look for the person the whole night, not there. The next day, the person is not there. You, right at the back of your mind, what will come in your mind is that this person could have got into some trouble somewhere. What will happen to the people in the home there? Then the friends, the neighbors, and all that. They'll never sleep until they get you. And unfortunately, most of them, as now they are found silenced. They are not there. They are dead. So this is something that needs a lot of seriousness. And the leaders in the country needs to come. They actually need to come with measures to curb this. Because if it is not capped, it's something that is going to grow, possibly even to a bigger problem. And you see now, it's something it's something that will begin from a family. But you see now, it is a family. It is a community. Because if, for example, there is blame, I'll say this, especially now with the politics. Possibly this one has gone because of politics. And now these politics start intertwining to this community and this community, and the communities get into the bigger society. So you see that blame. And then what will happen? Other conflicts now will arise, bigger conflicts. That this was our person, and he went from because of people from this other side.
Yes.
So what will happen? Another bigger conflict, which we don't know how far it is going to, what level it is going to get to.
Yes.
So the more this one is prevented early, the more at least there is peace for all of us. Yeah.
But let me just ask you this. Where did the rain start beating us? To the extent now that women are being killed and being targeted by men, their fellow men. Is it that we have, how are we making the world more cohesive for both men and women to live in without having unnecessary conflicts that end in death?
Quite, you know, in the past,
yes.
I don't know what past, because the past could be really past, but
Yeah.
from what we hear, and even as we have grown, there are what we call education, not learning, education now, the informal education,
Yes.
where people are taken through how to live, how to form healthy relationships, and how to interact with other people, whether you are because in institutions of learning and the other institutions where people meet,
Yes.
because that is where most of these incidences are happening. You find in the universities, a girl has been taken away, in a college, another one has been taken away, even in mature relationships,
Yes.
people are just getting out of hand.
Yes.
So with the informal education, it was working. And now, because we cannot dwell on the past that time, because with the modern life, the life today, those things may not work.
Yes.
There are no aunties in the reserve there, in the rural areas, where you take your child to be taken through life experiences.
Yes.
It is you. And where are we, even us as parents? We have no time. We are looking for bread. We are looking for school fees.
But there is something that is not just affecting the young people alone, but we even have older people who are actually affected by the same. But now the question is, where did the rain even start beating us itself? Have we now enhanced the culture where we see conflict between men and women that it has to result to death without people having a conversation? What is because also this could also be part of the mental health issue that you're talking about, because someone who is in the right state of mind may not necessarily want to harm another person, kill. So where are we headed to if we have like maybe at least one lady being killed per day in terms of femicide? Are we going to see in the future where such cases are going to reduce even to zero? Are we going to see an increase in the same? And if we're going to see an increase or a decrease on the same, it will be depending on what we the people, and particularly you being also a very consequential partner in this, of course, the mental health. I believe that what the actions that you guys are going to take, the actions that is going to be taken, and just maybe base your answers based on the actions that are being taken. What is the government doing about it? What are you guys doing about it? Also as the stakeholders, and what are we, the common mwananchi, supposed to do about it? And going forward, are we going to see an influx, or are we going to see a reduction in the same?
Okay, that's a very technical question, Kwach, because now there are two things about a person and the character of a person. One is nature and nurture.
Yes.
Nature is the biological component of the person that makes the person. That is inheritance, what possibly the character and behavior, the personality that you have inherited from the parents. And then there is nurture, the upbringing, and the environment at which you have been brought up in.
Yes.
So mostly now with the environment, which is full of this is social media things, the phones and the computers and all that, the internet, they have brought so much that some of the things we are seeing, they are abnormal, but we've taken them to be normal.
Yes.
If a child is holding the phone a whole day from morning to evening,
yes,
and there is internet in the house, what do you think that child is going through? What is he learning? What is he digesting from that phone? There is so much.
Yes, yes.
Many, many things that will make this person see like even the evils
Yes.
are normal and part of
Yes.
them. And they will extend them to the society.
Yes.
So if, for example, there are so many things that, I mean, I don't watch them, but I see them and I know they are there.
Yes.
Like wrestling,
Yes.
like things like there are games that are there.
Yes.
And you know, these children, because they are like from the teenagers,
Yes.
now I want to bring you to the picture of nurturing.
Yes.
The child will, this teen will grow with this in mind that
Yes.
it is a normal thing
Yes.
to do wrestling, the way they see it on phone, on the whatever, and they want to practice.
Yes.
And as they practice, you know, they have no fear of themselves or anyone because they think it is normal.
Yes.
They have seen it and they see how it happens.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that will get projected to people seeing their normal things, such that even if I take a knife and do something on another person,
Yes.
it is like a normal thing. And even then, where will you take me? Sometimes that is where governance comes in,
Okay.
seriously, because those people do that. The long hand of the people concerned should really get to them and show that it can really be prevented. Because if I know I will get some punishment for a wrong thing done, I will not do it. But if I feel that the people have done it and they are still there, how can't I continue doing it? How can't another person do it? So that is about nurture. In our society today, we are seeing things that are wrong,
Yes.
but they make us feel that it's just a normal thing.
Yes.
I can do it and I can do it.
Yes.
And then when we talk about nature,
Yes.
there are those people who are just born with the character
Yes.
vices,
Yes.
and unless it is corrected
Yes.
as they grow,
Yes.
they may just behave until the adult age.
Yes.
They move with it.
Yes.
So for them, whatever they do, whatever will happen,
Yes.
whether it is a spouse killing the other one,
Yes.
for them, they just see it's normal.
Yes. Thank you. Well, we're taking another quick short break, but of course we'll be right back, maybe to talk, to delve deeper, more a bit into, of course, other topics where we're also going to get to look at a bit of politics, of course, and how maybe it's now affecting the mental health, and of course, a bit now into governance. You tell us what you think about the current affairs a bit. Of course, we'll be coming back right into that after this quick short break, but of course, let's first of all take this break.
Welcome to the 254 Trivia Game Show, where every second counts and the stakes are sky high.
Get ready for jaw-dropping challenges, mind-bending questions, and unbeatable fun.
Who will rise to the top and claim the ultimate prize?
Tune into GBS TV and let the games begin.
Don't miss out. This is the 254 Trivia Game Show. Good luck.
Today we are going to have the Scouts Corner.
Drop. Tease. Let. Tease. Let.
And I'm joined with two wonderful schools. Firstly, we have the Kings and Queens Academy. And we have the SEK St. Elizabeth Academy. We'll be having different segments. And the first segment, we'll have the Bible knowledge.
Now, Maureen's father works in a place where believers were first called Christians. The place is called?
The third segment, we'll have the spelling bee.
We have 30 seconds to give your answer. Are you ready? Yes. Amazing.
NINTY 90. CHOCOLATE chocolate.
Meet us every day on Saturday, same place, same time.
Everywhere, GBS.
Thank you so much and welcome back to the Inside. Of course, this conversation continues and we have here Ellen Chiberi. Ellen, we continue the conversation. Now, let's talk about a bit of politics because we understand that also politics affect mental health.
Yeah.
And of course, politics also affect the governance issues of the country. From where you sit, also as a woman, as a lady, looking at both global politics and local politics generally, from where you sit, what is your thought generally?
Okay, my thought now about politics. Okay, I'm not so much in politics, but I am in a world where politics are a topic every day. And the politics, I feel, should keep growing from one level to another. The politics of 2022 should not be the politics of now. As we move on, the leaders need to change even as they look maybe for the political seats. We need to see a development, a transition that is growing from one level to another. And how do we see this? It is there is need for maturity in politics, where we see people talking and not people quarreling, where we see people negotiating for the good of the country, but not for their personal gains. Where we see those very needy people being looked at like as members of the citizens in a country, and they are supported in the way that they need to be supported.
Yes.
We also need to have this politics as a benefit to the country and to change the country, and to change all the requirements that are part of making the citizens of a country, or the country itself, to grow. Looking at the institutions towards employment of people, and also to medical and health of the citizens of a country, food production, and security, and all those that make people live in harmony in a country. For any country to say that it has reached a level of stability in politics, it is where people live in harmony, where there are no, where people are not fighting, where people are not feeling that I am left out, where a certain community is not left feeling that a certain community is inferior and another one is superior, where there is no stereotyping. You know, in politics today there is even stereotyping of some communities, like the marginalized ones. So it's if we get to a level where we feel at par, of course not equality but equity in every maybe community and the counties also, to be at least balanced in a way in terms of provision of the national cake. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. How far are we from from living the dream that you're talking about? How far are we from it?
Okay. This century, the 21st century. Okay, I feel we may not be very far because it also depends. If there is a mindset that is positive, it can happen in the shortest time. If there is a negative mindset, and of course it is with the leaders, if the mindsets are negative, then we may never get there. But if there is a positive mindset in our leaders, in governance, and working together, cooperation, and all that, and lack of corruption is not there, and it can happen in the soonest time.
Do you have such leaders who are ready to take the mantle, move Kenya forward, according to the way you're talking?
Okay, we always hear that good ones are not yet born, but the ones we are with, if they like it, it can happen. They can make it happen.
From the way you're seeing politics, the politics of Kenya, are we any near to reaching the epitome of maybe what you're talking about, where we are in a corrupt, a free place, where we're living a good life, generally, there is no stereotyping, there is the good things that actually you've mentioned, which will actually even affect positively mental health, see people grow well and the economy even become better, because as you had mentioned earlier, that the major issue that affects people mentally is finance from the economy and such. So from where you sit, do you think that we have leaders who are ready to take the mantle and lead the people without unnecessary politicking, which is affecting the country?
Yes, Coach. If these leaders, the leaders we have, if they choose to, they can very easily.
Okay.
Let them create jobs for the unemployed.
Okay.
Let them improve the health facilities. Let them employ machineries to cater for all that, for health. Let them provide for good food production. Let them also end corruption and provide for the basic needs of the citizens.
Okay.
If they think of it positively, they can.
Okay.
They are very capable and very capable.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Let's now go back to the conversation that we were having initially on mental health. The conversation on mental health, actually being a big conversation that has affected a lot of things, actually. We talk about even governance. But you've also mentioned corruption as a critical issue that has actually affected the way our governance structures are so far. But let me just ask you, because we also understand that we also have mental health policies that have actually been put in place to at least help. Apart from the policies, we've also had finances to help and assist in the campaigns. But we've had a very small percentage of funds allocated to fight mental diseases. From where you sit, how are we going to ensure that we increase the funding? Do you even think that it's inevitable that we should increase the funding for just fighting mental health issues? And apart from that, also, we also should we've had conversations where people believe that it is now imperative for the government, or rather hospitals and healthcare institutions, to put mental health care as part of basic health care, so that because it's actually a basic, though as you mentioned, it's something you don't see, but it is quite basic. So going forward, do you think that these two issues, when you talk about the funds allocation and of course incorporating mental health care into basic mental health, health care, do you think these things are quite inevitable, and when are we going even to achieve them?
Okay, thank you. Now look at, let's look at, you've talked about the funds. These funds could be even more than the required, but the lineage at which it gets to where it is needed, it could be the problem. I think it's just thinking of proper management of the funds, how they get to the people who really need them. Because most likely the funds are there and they are released, but they'll never get to the people who need them. But if there is there are proper measures put in place to make sure that the funds are released in support of mental health, either to the counties, from the national government to the counties. What is that line? How does it come from this point to that point where the people need them? If just in between, there are fishy things that will happen and will not get to the people where it is needed, then you see that's where we say it is not workable. It was meant for good, but it does not work for good. Yeah, it was meant for good, but it's not working for the good that it was meant for. So just putting measures in place that would ensure that funds have been released and they get to the right place.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us for this critical conversation. Actually, we have come to the end of this conversation, but maybe you'll just give us your final thoughts, particularly on the topic that we're having today on governance and mental health, as we've come to the end of this conversation.
Okay. Kwachi, this was a very critical discussion, very vital for all of us as citizens of where we are. And being a specialist in mental health, and of course a counselor, I would request that those people involved, let them not allow the problem to get to the level, an expensive, very expensive level. Because if it gets to a place where it requires, the mental problems require treatment, it will not be easy. It will, of course, it will cost. But through counseling, if the leaders from the counties, through the chiefs, and the smallest unit in the villages, if they took counseling as serious as medication would be, it wouldn't get to that level. It would be cheap to manage. It would be cheap to manage, and it would not reach the level of looking for doctors and looking for treatment. So let the people concerned from the counties put in place counseling facilities from where they are. Let the churches also, let all societal institutions feel that counseling works, and it can work for the good of the people to manage and to curb mental problems. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helen Chibere, who is of course with us here, governance and mental health expert, of course, among other titles that she has and wears. Today being my graduation, I'm also very grateful that you've joined us for this conversation. And of course, I'm very elated having graduated from KCA University. And of course, on behalf of everyone who has made this a success, we wish you a very good night. And of course, be joining us every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Friday, of course, on GBS TV. On behalf of everyone who has made this a success, we wish you a good night. Find us at GBS TV Africa, at Kwach Official. And my name is Eugene Ochieng Kwach. See you next Friday.
everywhere.